Hello and welcome back to Budget with Becca. I first off want to apologize for the lighting. I'm filming this later on in the day and the sun is very much set. I'm still getting used to all of this YouTube world, so I don't have the fancy lift it dancy lights, but I was able to make it work. So I apologize for the shadows, but I will try to do my best with making this video as clear as possible. So for this video, I wanted to do a little bit of an about me, my journey to budgeting, and why I decided to start a YouTube channel. So I want to first just start off with about me. So the first little bit about me is I live in Canada. I am a Canadian, tried and true. So all the videos on this channel will be using Canadian currency, and all the information about finances will be based on Canadian finances, like tax-free savings account and RRSPs. All of that lingo will be about Canada. Okay, and moving on, more about me is I am a teacher. I am currently working in a school board in a kindergarten classroom. I have this position for a year, so my paychecks vary week to week, bi-weekly paid, but it is consistent for the year as of right now. Then the last little bit about me is I am 25 years old. I am currently living with my parents and I have a single income. I just want to give that backstory since this is going to be about budgeting and finances. So I wanted to make that clear as we move on. Why I am back living with my parents is for 2 years I lived abroad in England and I moved back this August, and so I decided to live with my parents instead of renting so I could save up for a house. So yes, this is about me. I live in Canada. I'm currently a kindergarten teacher, 25 years old, living with my parents and a single income. So this will make sense while we start budgeting and going through my budget. Alrighty, so the second part of this video is why I started budgeting. So I pretty much started budgeting because I am learning how to adulting and finances and money and just understanding where your paycheck comes from and understanding where your paycheck should go is all part of adulting and being on your own. Even though I'm back living with my parents, it's a big part of understanding my financial income and being ready to be back on my own. I lived on my own for 5 years before moving back with my family, and most of the time my money would just come in and I would just spend it however I wanted to and not really understanding how to save properly and preparing for future short-term and long-term goals. So now that I'm more focused on adulting, I'm really understanding where my money should go, and that comes with budgeting. Next, my main goal is saving up for a house. That is my short-term goal in the next couple of years, as my long-term goal is just saving up for retirement. So saving up for a house is my next goal, and budgeting really helps with that because you're able to put money where it needs to go and save up for different reasons. Next is just being better with my money. As a teacher, I am very much always learning and always looking to learn, and budgeting really helps me be better with my money and understanding where my money should go, and just like I said, being better with it. And last is I learned a lot of it from YouTube. So YouTube has been my resource for all of this information, and that's where I figured out about budgeting and cash envelopes and debt snowballs and all of that, and getting started on budgeting. So speaking of debt snowball, I learned a lot from the Dave Ramsey YouTube channel. Now, I struggled with Dave Ramsey because I would find sometimes he was relatable and sometimes he wasn't, and maybe that's just because of my age or what I put importance on, but for sure I am looking at being debt-free, but not fully, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. But I learned a lot from YouTube, a lot of videos, and that is also why I wanted to create my own YouTube channel, that is to put an accountability on myself while I am going through this budgeting journey, as well as document it for anybody else that would like to, because that's where I learned a lot of my information from, and so maybe my story can help others, and my story might be a little different. Okay, so the last part of this video, I wanted to give an update on how I've done since starting my budgeting journey in October and since using cash envelopes. So I got this cash envelope system right off the bat in October, and I've loved using it so much. So my main takeaways from that since I started till now in January, I absolutely love sinking funds. Sinking funds have been one of the absolute reasons why I've stuck with cash envelopes and using a cash system, because I'm able to take out a little bit of each paycheck and put it away for many savings. Savings like using my nails and getting my nails done when I want it, to bigger savings like car maintenance and vacation funds. So sinking funds has definitely been a reason why I've stuck to cash envelopes. Next is budgeting bi-weekly with my paychecks. That has been helpful because now that I have a consistent paycheck every 2 weeks, cash envelopes work well with that, because I'm able to take out a certain amount and know in 2 weeks I'll be able to take out the same amount if my budget allows it, and keeping it consistent with that. So budgeting bi-weekly helps with me with using cash envelopes. And last, financial freedom over debt. So this is what I was mentioning earlier with Dave Ramsey. So Dave Ramsey talks about being debt-free a lot, and I completely agree with that, but I'm putting a focus more on financial freedom over being debt-free. So over the next couple of videos, I will explain my debt situation and how I'm planning on paying that off, but I'm not sticking too much to being debt-free as much as just financial freedom and understanding budgeting and finances and setting myself up for the future as best as possible. One thing I did, a quote from Dave Ramsey or from his daughter Rachel that I absolutely love, is permission to spend, and that is what budgeting and cash envelopes allow you to do. When you budget out and you have a dollar amount for everything, every category, and every dollar counts, they're saying your money, your paycheck has a place to go every budget and every paycheck. That means that you are allowing yourself to save and to spend and to pay off debt if it may be. You're allowing yourself to give yourself those categories so that you can spend when you want, but also have the financial freedom to still live your life. I am not on a massive debt-free journey, so I am not on beans as rice, as Dave would always say. I am more on just making sure I put enough money away for savings, as well as paying off my debt, as well as living my life, but achieving my goals and doing so. So with that, cash envelopes helps massively with that in my overspending categories, my sinking funds, making sure those are fully funded, as well as just saving and paying off debt. So cash envelopes and budgeting has helped massively with that. So that is the end of my video. So thank you for sticking around. Like I said, this is just the beginning of my journey. This is going to be all about Canadian currency, budgeting, cash envelopes, and I'm so excited to document my journey on YouTube going forward. This was just going to be an update since my first video when I filmed that in October, and my journey till now. I will have to do an update on my sinking funds and seeing how my money is sitting out in those funds and what I use the most, what I've had to change, figuring out my budget, as well as I will be doing bi-weekly videos while doing my budget as I get my paychecks. So yes, that is me. That is Budgeting with Becca. Thank you so much for following along, and if you made it to the end, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. Thank you. Bye.